Abraham has a sense of humor that comes through Esther. Does Abraham ever not have a sense of humor and get angry?
Knowing what you know about the emotional scale and knowing what you know about non-physical energy and no resistance, surely you can answer your own question about that.
The answer is yes. Because we are extensions
Get her out of here. Because
I flunk.
the answer is no, but tell us why you think the answer is yes.
Well, because as we are extensions of Source, and Source is here, and we're here, and we're moving to be with Source, there is this gap which causes discomfort.
For who?
Well, if I'm an extension of Source, then surely what I experience, Source experiences.
Well, you see, this is the thing that we're trying to explain to you about the guidance system. The reason you experience something that you would describe as anger is because you are beating the drum or offering a vibration that has you, in your current perspective, separated from the way Source feels about same.
Okay, so Source, okay.
So the anger that you feel, or the despair,
or
the
sickness
discomfort,
or whatever,
is your indication that you have, by your focus, vibrated yourself out of the range of the signal that is really calling you. In other words, that's what we meant earlier. If Source joins you in the negative thought, then you would feel not the separation, you'd feel no negative emotion.
Is that like what you said, you can never be sick enough to help people who are sick? It's something like Source will never feel like Jesus would never be sick because somebody else was sick. Jesus would vibrate you into wellness.
That's accurate. And that is the advantage of you being an extension of that which is Source. So let's talk about this in a little bit of detail here. So Source energy, not on the leading edge of thought. Source energy, pure positive energy, in perfect vibrational balance, projecting thought but not living the physical manifestation in the way that you are. Source energy, it's easier to maintain your vibrational balance when you are just a little bit back from the leading edge. It's like you send your spacecraft and Cape Canaveral is on the ground and relatively secure. And the spacecraft is more leading edge and has the support of Cape Canaveral, but less secure. And then you send the little manned flight out from the
capsule, whatever.
And it is even less secure, but supported by all that comes before. And so we want to say to you that here you are on the leading edge, and you have an inner being who has an inner being who has an inner being who has an inner being. And that Source energy is in that pure positive place. And so when you stand in this new leading edge place and you have an experience that causes the desire to be born that's different from what you've lived, in other words, isn't that what leading edge means? I'm having exposure to an experience that is causing a desire to be born that is different from what I'm actually living. And so the leading edge rocket of desire has happened. Source, in its slightly removed position, can go mentally right along with the idea, back the idea up with the full resources of Source, nice combination of words, the full resources of Source, and immediately becomes one with that idea. One with the idea, but not on the leading edge where the manifestation will occur. Now it's up to you, leading edge creator, to bring yourself vibrationally up to speed with all of that. And so Source has the advantage of not having as much exposure to the contrast that would maybe pull Source away from alignment. We're really stretching to even say that, because Source is so in alignment that it is inconceivable that that could happen. But following the train of thought that you are pursuing, Source maintains its balance. But the advantage that you give it all, that's why we compliment you often, that you are willing to be here in the nitty-gritty, leading edge, contrasting environment where you risk the opportunity to stay in perfect alignment. You let the contrast evoke from you a new preference. Feel the value of this. Feel the value in terms of eternalness. It's not only that when you ask, it is given. It is that you must ask for it to be given. Let that be the next book. It must be asked if it is to be given. It must be asked if it is to be given. So who's going to ask but the one out there on the leading edge exploring the nitty-gritty? You're going to ask, you see. And
so if we've been asking for things that have not occurred and you've been waiting 40 years for it, you've obviously not been open to it. Source is there waiting for you.
Well, Source is there.
Is waiting.
Source is
there. And here we are way out here someplace. And
complaining about it not coming.
Complaining about it not coming.
That's why we began here today by saying, when you understand that when you ask it is given, and it's not that hard to fork yourself into vibrational alignment, then patience is something that you will never have to ask of yourself again. Because when you understand the laws, and when you understand how forthcoming the universe is with everything that you want, it should come to you fast. You should not have to wait long for anything. But if you will make peace with the interim in which it has not yet come, you will speed the process by saying things like, well, it hasn't come yet, and that's okay because I'm having a good time anyway, and it will be here in perfect timing. That attitude will bring it fast. But you see, we don't want to get too excited about teaching you all how to want things, clean up your vibration and get them, because we don't want to give you the impression that you're ever going to clean it all up and get it all done, because you're not. You are going to eternally, and we're including us in this, you're going to eternally live your life in the crack between what you've launched and where you are. And so life is a constant process of closing that gap. And what we want you to begin doing is to feel the fun and the joy of closing the gap. As you realize that your desire is here and that you are not up to speed with it, and then you make effort to get up to speed with it, and you begin to feel the relief, you begin to feel the releasing of resistance, you begin to feel better, you begin to resume your creative control, you begin to recapture your sense of autonomy, and most important, your sense of empowerment. Then long before it actually manifests, you're feeling good again, and now you are in a place that you're watching for the evidence of it, and now you're fully involved with the unfolding of your life, so that you are succulently, deliciously devouring every morsel of life as it comes to you by your deliberate intent. And now it manifests, and you go whoopee for a minute as you stand on this new contrasting place and give birth to yet another rocket of desire. In other words, it is so exhilarating to live life in that hands-on manner once you understand that it always comes to you. And then you're able to adopt the stance that is satisfied with where I am and eager for more. Knowing that there will always be something else that I will want, but I'm never again dissatisfied with where I am. Because how could I possibly be dissatisfied on my way to everything I could possibly want? Jerry said to Esther, as he keeps trying to hold things off, he'll say, let's not buy the most beautiful monster bus in the world because we don't want to get to the best too soon. And Esther says, why? And Jerry says, because I want to have something to savor. I want there to be something that I'm reaching for. And Esther said, like there won't always be something that I'm reaching for? How could we possibly ever get to the end of anything? Yeah. Things are evolving. Our desires are evolving. Technology is evolving. Motor coaches are evolving. Don't worry about that, she'll say. There will always be something more that we are wanting. And we want you to just relax in wherever you are and reach for whatever you want and bring yourself there as quickly as you can, understanding there will always be more, always be more. Do you know there are worlds of creators around you that speak the language of the meow and the language of the roar and the language of the bark? In other words, they're not writing affirmations on their bathroom mirrors. They're just having life experiences and launching rockets of desires, and Source is saying yes to every one of them, and they are intuitively and instinctively following the vibration. And that's why you see so much powerful, positive, deliberate creating in the beasts around you, you see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you, Abraham.
Yes, indeed.